Well, the latest numbers on inflation in March are out and show consumer prices increased 2.4%. Now, that data indicating some progress in the Federal Reserve's battle to bring down inflation to a 2% rate. But despite the slowdown, many experts worry that these new tariffs will still hurt consumers. Joining us now is investment strategist Luke Lloyd. Luke, welcome.
Hey, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you here. So some economists say this could be the last good CPI report for a while. What are your thoughts on that and this report as a whole?
Yeah, I actually don't think so. I think that there's much more to this equation than just tariffs. If you look back to Bill Clinton, that's the last time we actually balanced the budget. And all inflation really is a culprit of government spending. So I'll give you an example. There's a stock out there called UiPath, and that stock mentioned that they, cut like thousands of licenses at the federal government level because of the Department of Government Efficiency. I think that's happening all around. So that pullback in government spending might actually offset the initial part of the tariffs being inflationary. And then on top of that, tariffs are actually only inflationary, number one, if they stick around a long time, and number two, if people keep buying the goods that are actually inflated in prices. So the higher tariffs could actually hurt the economy, and if that hurts the economy, that's actually deflationary. So I actually think we're heading into this more lower inflation environment. It's here to stay.
Well, as it relates to the Doge cuts, Elon Musk had been trumpeting for the past, pardon the pun, the past number of months that $1 trillion to $2 trillion, and this was something you could see basically every night when you were listening to him. During the cabinet meeting yesterday, that number is realistically $150 billion, the words from his mouth.
Exactly.
So that's obviously a huge difference.
It's a lot lower. It takes time. Absolutely. It takes a lot of time. That's why over the long term, I think that deflationary pressure is something that we haven't been used to in a while.
So let me ask you, the report shows a drop in energy prices, including gas, which played a huge role in keeping inflation down. Can you explain why energy prices have such a big impact on inflationary numbers overall?
Yeah, absolutely. So what's the biggest culprit to gas? It's oil prices. There's oil, right? So oil goes through the entire economy, through the plastics that are made, pharmaceuticals. I don't think people realize that how many products in their household actually use oil to be made. So whenever oil prices go lower, that's obviously going to be a deflationary pressure as well. But then you look at the whole, I think the average person spends like $4,000 or $5,000 a year just in gas, whether it's traveling from point A to point B or to work. And if you have a 30% reduction in that could save you $1,500. So again, that's another thing that's here to stay. But is it a culprit of what's going on at the top, or is it a culprit of actually people, the consumer, pulling back spending as well? I think we're kind of in this environment where people, the middle class America, is struggling, and I think they're pulling back some spending, which is also going to keep prices lower.
So let me ask you this: do you see that? Because you see some of the primary economists coming, like Larry Fink, in fact, the other day saying that he feels like we're, in or nearing a recession, even though we're not technically in a recession. Do you see consumer spending, consumer confidence edging towards that, where people's opinions out there, especially as it relates to food prices, that, we'll dumb that down here in a few seconds. But do you think that people are starting to have that kind of approach?
Yeah, I do think that, the recession was coming for a long time. It's a long time coming. I mean, we've been bailing things out since 2008, 2009, right? We had COVID. We printed trillions of dollars in deficit spending. Usually recessions happen every 8 to 12 years, somewhere in that range. I mean, we're kind of due for a recession. And again, I'm going to highlight the reduction in government spending, whether it's $150 billion now, or whether that increases, or whether it doesn't have to just be the Department of Government Efficiency. It could be Congress out there pulling back that liquidity. And anytime you pull out liquidity in the system, that's only benefited the rich and wealthy. What happens? You have asset prices going down, you have stocks going down, you have real estate, which we haven't seen go down in a very, very long time. When those asset prices come down, that usually means unemployment goes up and people reduce spending, and then you enter a recession.
Luke, I'm going to ask you one last question here real quickly. Egg prices, we've been talking about it. It seems like through the entire campaign, the president said the other day, egg prices are way down. They're not. They're way up once again. The highest that they've been. They rise over 5% just in this month of March alone. Why are eggs still so expensive?
Well, I think that, people actually got concerned initially around, again, supply and demand.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to inflation, again, if money wasn't finite supply, we would not have inflation. But because it's not a finite supply, it's all based on supply and demand in the economy. So when people get scared that when they go to the grocery store, they can't get eggs, what do? They try to buy 2 or 3 eggs, even though some grocery stores are limiting how much you're buying. I think that demand influx, because people are scared, is keeping prices a little bit higher, even after the, aviation flu.
You keep using that ancient term, groceries.
That's exactly right.
That ancient term that no one uses. All right, thank you. I'm kidding.
Hey,
Investment strategist.
I'm from small town Ohio. Maybe that's why.
Investment strategist Luke Lloyd. We appreciate it, Luke. Good to chat with you, man. All right, to read more about the CPI report and other Money Watch stories, head over to CBSNewYork.com.